Hey, welcome to video number 9. In this specific video, I'm going to show you how to find WordPress experts to integrate custom control panels into your theme. Now, the part of finding the right WordPress expert is very, very important because you need to have the right person or persons to be doing this. In other words, you're going to set yourself up for failure. You're going to find somebody who claims to know what they're doing, but really they don't know what they're doing. They're just guessing, or they just want to win your bid. So I'm going to help you figure out how to create the right project description that will attract the right type of person and that will eliminate the wrong types of people. And then in the video after this, I'm going to actually show you how to sift through the applicants. So what I would recommend that you do first is to create the right project description. Now, taking into account the project description that I created earlier for the designer and as well now for the WordPress developer, we're going to say up at the top, we need to have somebody who has knowledge in WordPress theme development using blank control theme. And basically what we have here is we have, in terms of resources, the PSD file, the list of features, and then we need to have the control panel. So we could even remove this whole thing and say, I have the following: PSD file, list of features, and control panel. Whatever control panel that you go with. You want to say, I need a WordPress theme developer expert to convert I would say to connect a PSD, or convert PSD to WordPress, connect the WordPress theme to the blank control panel. And the way that programmers think is very, very different than designers. Programmers think systematically. So step 1, step number 2, step number 3. So if you can be thorough and write it out, step 1, step 2, step 3, it'll help them better understand exactly what you want. The worst thing that you can do to a programmer is tell them, hey, I want this, and just send them a link to, a program. Because they're not going to know exactly what features you want, what options you want, and they may say yes, but in the long run it'll take longer and more time to build it because they don't have those expectations. So that's why I wanted you to understand and get out of the way the list of features and the list of expectations. So we got convert PSD to WordPress, connect the WordPress theme to the control panel, and then you can say see the list of features. Please ask me questions about this. And I'll tell you up front that the person that views this and then asks you a lot of questions about your list of features is the type of person that you want to go with. Now, if it's something to clear that it's like so obvious and they ask you questions about that, you may want to wonder on the flip side, is this person competent? So it's a fine line between no questions or too many questions. If somebody asks you no questions, that means that they did not read your description. If it's too many questions, you may want to be wary of that theme developer, because there might be a break somewhere in the communication line. So you want to be somewhere in the middle. You got turnaround time, obviously with this option number 2, you're gonna have about I'd say 1 to 1.5 months. Now it could be longer depending on who you get. And that's why I want you to understand, you've got to set yourself up for success by finding the right person. Find the wrong person, it could take 3 to 4 months, create a headache, and you may not ever launch your WordPress theme. So after you've done this, we got the legal information, you own all rights, you've got to have an NDA for this. And I'm going to show you how to create an NDA in the future videos. But NDA is basically a non-disclosure agreement. And basically within that, you tell the WordPress developer you cannot disclose this information with anybody. You cannot put it in your portfolio or anything like that. So that's what the NDA is, and I'll show you that later on. Payment expectations, I would say no upfront payments, just like the designer, but you can host the theme on your server to let me test it out. Now, you're going to get a lot of people that say, I want 10% up, or I want 15% up front. And even if they have a ton of feedback, I would advise you to bargain with them. I would tell them this. I would say, sorry, maybe I've had problems in the past, but sorry, I don't do any upfront payments up front, but you can host the theme on your server and then let me test it out. That way they have it on their server until you pay, they will give it to you, kind of thing. So that way you protect yourself and you protect them as well. If it is only yourself and not them, they may not want to work with you. So you want to make sure that it's a win-win situation for everybody. And also, you also want to make sure that your keyword is there, bacon or blue dinosaur or green garbage can, whatever keyword that you want. But I'm going to tell you this now. Once you put it on Odesk or Freelancer, you're going to get hundreds and hundreds of applications. And then what you need to do is scan for those applications and figure out, okay, did this person actually read it? Even if you get like a really good expert theme developer, if they did not read your keyword and put it on the application, that means there's a break in the communication line. And that is a problem. So you want to make sure that they message you before they bid. And obviously in this case, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to attach the PSD file. If I purchase the control panel, I'm going to let them know and include the files. And I'm going to give them the list of features that I created down below here and make sure that they understand, what exactly I want to do. And if you go on to odesk.com, when you create your project description, you want to make it so that you got category will be software development, then the subcategory will likely, actually it's web development since it's WordPress, and then web programming. And then after that, we've got job title, description, just place your description here. You got your skills required. What I recommend is you want to look for somebody who is good at PSD conversions, but not only that, they have an expertise of, you can say something like, you need to have these skills. WordPress theme development, I would say CSS, Cascade styling sheets, and HTML5. If you can find somebody who has all of these, then you're likely to find a good WordPress theme programmer. So I would put that here. I'd put CSS. I'd put Photoshop because they got to convert it from Photoshop to WordPress. I put WordPress, and I would put let's say WordPress. Okay, so it only allows me to do 3, but job type, I would do fixed. I would not do hourly until you've done at least one project with that specific expert, so that you know exactly, how long they actually take. Because if you pay by hour and they make a lot of mistakes, you're going to pay them by hour. So I always go fixed price. Now, in my experience with Odesk, I found that some people will request that you change it to hourly. Ignore those people. If they say that, they don't really care about you. They care primarily about building their hourly rate and hours and feedback. So put it at fixed price. Put your budget at, it's kind of tricky. So I would say minimum 500, because you're going to get a lot of people that either want 1200 or 600 or 400 and so forth. Estimated end date, I would put it maybe right before a month. And I want to go with agencies. I prefer agencies over independents, because if somebody is an independent and they leave, then you're screwed. And I've had that so many times. I've lost thousands of dollars just doing that. Feedback score, I would say at least 4. Hourly rate, I would put a maximum of 30. And location, all right, so it's got to be at least $1. Location really doesn't matter to me. Test pass, I want them to have a portfolio. English level 4 out of 5. Hours billed at least an hour. So that way you don't have a lot of people that don't necessarily have hours on Odesk bidding on your project description. Now, you might find some people out there who, are really great, but do I really want to take the risk? No. So I'm on a time limit. So once you're done with that, click on post a job, and that's it. So in the next video, I'm going to show you kind of how to sift through applicants.